here on this earth? Did I take more than I gave? Did I look out for the people, or did I do it all for fame? Legend is Exodus, searching for euphoria, trudging through the mud to find the present, no ignoring us. 20,000 deep up in the street like we some warriors. My mama told me never bow your head.
I feel glorious, glorious. Got a chance to start again. I was born for this, born for this. It's who I am, not put up again. I made it through the darkest part of the night, and now I see the sunrise. Now I feel glorious, glorious. I feel glorious, glorious.
I'm feeling glorious. The crib looking victorious. You know that we've been going it since we hopped out that DeLorean.
Welcome in, everybody, to the In Off the Bench podcast. My name is Jim Cross, and it is glorious because anytime we are talking LSU baseball, it's better than anything we're going to do on this show, Daniel. And you may agree or disagree, but I'm just telling you facts. The powerhouse, we're going to be talking about the greatest baseball program. And tonight, we're going to have an amazing guest. We're going to have on Blaise Priester. So welcome on to the biggest interviewing podcast in this week with our man, Blaise. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thank y'all for the invite. It's I've actually watched a lot of y'all's podcasts, so it's glad to be on here.
That's what's up, man. And I'm glad we were able to get you. The irony is me and Daniel were talking about this 4 years ago, almost to the day. Cade Beloso came on here, and we had to move it because the national championship. And so, Daniel, I said, how is it that we're having the podcast fall on the national championship again with LSU baseball? So it seems to be a trending theme, and maybe you'll follow through with the championship just like Cade did.
That's the goal. That's always the goal, especially here at LSU.
You would
Omaha room, and it's amazing to see everything that's been conquered here at LSU.
Jim, you would think after all these years of doing this podcast, we would like sit down and look at the big important dates, national championship being one of them, and we would schedule around it.
Not me, man.
We
You
never
know, I
do.
book like 3 months out in advance. Like, I just get excited and book people I want to have on the show. But, you know, speaking of not expecting things, Blaise, so last week I was on the Golden Boot podcast as a guest host and had William Schmidt on there. And they asked him, you know, if LSU had played any football in the snow like Tennessee did last season. And I laughed and said, it doesn't snow in Baton Rouge. But yet here we are with snow on deck. If y'all do, in fact, get 4 to 8 inches and there's a lot of snow, do you think Jay Johnson will allow y'all to have some fun and play football?
I'm actually not that sure about that. I know that coach is going to text us tomorrow at 6:15 in the morning and see if we're even still lifting just for our safety and everything. But if the roads aren't too bad, I can ask him the question and see if he'll let us.
Well, I, as an LSU fan, would prefer y'all not. I don't want anyone to get hurt. But I know the people who love football and baseball, you know, together would love to see you guys out there. They would want to know who's going to be the star quarterback, who's going to be hauling in the touchdowns. I don't know, Daniel, where are you at? You're the neutral guy in this. Do you need to see some football in the snow?
So here's what you do, Blaise. You beg for forgiveness. Do not ask for permission.
Daniel, you were a college baseball,
it's
a national
too cool.
championship college baseball coach. Daniel, would you allow your players to do this?
On January 20th, knowing in 3 weeks we need to be ready to rock and roll? Absolutely not.
All right. Well, Daniel, I read an article that has nothing to do with snow. I'm fascinated. I got to know if it's true. Blaise, is it true that you can solve a Rubik's Cube in under a minute?
Yes.
Prove it.
If I had a Rubik's Cube, I actually have one.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but, you know, like, how does one, like, you know, acquire such a, you know, being able to do that? Like, I mean, I can't solve one, period. How do you get to the point where you can do this thing in under a minute?
Boring bus rides. I learned, so my redshirt freshman year at Meridian Community College, I got it as a Christmas gift, and I didn't know what to do with it. It was like a white elephant Christmas gift. So I was like, I'm actually going to learn how to solve it. And so whenever Like we'd take like these 4-hour, 5-hour bus rides. I would watch YouTube videos and just try to solve it. And then I got to where I could solve it without the videos. And then I just saw how fast I could solve it.
And see, Daniel says that baseball players aren't that smart. And here we are, Daniel. Here we are.
Let's not crown Blaise the smartest dude on earth. Somebody else.
Hey, I can't solve one.
They just showed him how to do it.
Pretty much. I mean, like just having to watch the videos over and over and over again because I would forget steps and everything. So, but once I figured it out, it was easy.
I do have a question about this Rubik's Cube. All right,
Okay.
because my daughter asked for one for Christmas and she got one. The problem is it comes already solved. So it's like, well, how do you go about messing it up? Or I just feel like that's like defeating the purpose. I would rather them send it to me not completed. That way I can go, all right, let me work towards something. Now that it's complete, I can just set it up and be like, yeah, I did it. Or I could turn one or two, remember how I turned it and go, oh, I'll solve it in 6 seconds and then flip it back.
I mean, yeah, you could do that, but then like, what's the point of just having it up there if you don't know how to solve it?
Very true.
I think I would rather just find something else to do. That's what I would do. But I like it. The bus rides make sense now because I'm thinking, how does this become a thing? Now it all makes sense. Me and Daniel, we were too busy sleeping, I think.
Probably, man.
Or hopefully hunting. Like I enjoy that too.
Take it with you. Throw it in your bag, while you're up there in a stand. You just,
Yeah, you just fiddle with it.
There you go. So Blaise, let me ask you this before we get into your backstory. Jim, probably the best name in college baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a pretty stout name. I like it. I like it a lot. You have a fan in me moving forward.
I appreciate that.
But with that, obviously, we got to get into your backstory a little bit. Where is home for you when you're not in Baton Rouge?
Home for me is in Denham Springs, Louisiana.
Denim Springs, like the pants, like denim?
Yes, sir.
All right. So what's the claim to fame of Denim Springs? If I went there, what would you tell me to experience?
Let's see. Well, what I would normally do whenever I go like home to my parents' house or anything else, mostly. Wow, I'm boring because I would do baseball stuff. I'm sorry, I didn't really go out with friends. I just played baseball and worked.
It's not a bad thing at all.
I mean, it makes sense. It checks out. I mean, you're at one of the top places to play baseball in the country, so you don't do that by just going out fiddling with Rubik's cubes all day.
I mean, at least, hey, you know what? I mean, like the last answer we got, it was solid, but the local Mexican restaurant, Daniel, that just kind of made me laugh. There's, like I said, there's one on every corner where I'm from, so that's just a weird answer for me.
I mean, we do have, let's see, right off the interstate, we have the La Coretta. And then if you go more closer to my house, we have Casa Maria, which is where I usually eat for the Mexican restaurants. Then we got like 2 others, but yeah.
Here would be my question for you. I know you're a fisherman. I love to fish myself. Is there an amazing fishing hole that you got somewhere back home?
Yes, I do. And I'm not going to tell you the coordinates to it either.
Ooh, he's been dropping pins. And let me ask you this. Are you supposed to be there?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's my neighborhood pond. So if you figure out where I live, like the house.
That's funny because mine is too.
Denim Springs can't be that big. We got to be able to find. I bet it's one of them springs out there somewhere.
Somewhere.
Hey, we had a girl last week. She was from Ham Lake, but never had been to the lake that was in the town. That's crazy.
What?
Yeah. Yep.
Your town's name is.
That's
like
what he told her.
In the town, and you don't go to the lake.
Is there a Denim Spring? That's what I want to know. Is there a Denim Spring? Is there an actual spring called Denim Spring?
I actually don't know that answer. All I know is the town where I'm from is Denham Springs.
See, he laughed at her, but he's gonna find out there's a spring and he ain't been to it.
He ain't been to it. There it is.
I mean,
well, let's get into this, man. All right, strong name, Blaise Priester, dude. Love it. Is that a family name? Is that like?
it's I was born into a Catholic family, so I was named after Saint Blaise, and so that's how like. So as we are Catholics, that's just how it came about. Um, I grew up in Denham Springs, and I went to Live Oak High School.
You got mom, dad? You got any brothers or sisters?
I got my mom. She's an amazing lady. I got my dad, who's actually having to stay at work because of the weather that we're having. I have an older sister. She played softball at Northwestern State up in Natchitoches. So as the younger sibling, you always want to beat the older sibling. So I worked twice as hard as she ever did. I have a I have a dog. His name is Bruno. He's 2 years old. He's full of energy.
What kind of dog?
A giant schnauzer.
Giant Schnauzer. Bruno. How'd you come up with the name Bruno?
My mom watched the movie where it's like, we don't talk about Bruno. It's the song.
Elite.
So that-
Encanto. I got kids, and that is one of the most elite, catchy song movies. Daniel, I'll stand by it.
I mean, it is. You hear that song, you can't not hum it or sing
Yeah,
it.
a little bit.
Along, man.
So, but yeah, growing up in Denham, my parents, my sister, my dog. I went from Live Oak Elementary all the way to Live Oak High School. Really just had a fun time. I mean, I've played football and baseball growing up my whole life, and but once baseball started taking off more for me, I put the pigskin down.
It's no surprise on the football, though. You ain't a little kid by no means, man.
No, not at all. So, how do you? To me, when I hear a guy that lives in Louisiana and he's excelling at baseball and he's getting the opportunity and has the elite level ability to play at the Division I level, I immediately think like LSU is the only place for a kid from Louisiana. But for you, you commit to LSU, but was that the only choice?
So actually there's a funny story because going into my freshman year of college, I was actually committed to play at Meridian Community College, where later, after my freshman year of redshirting at LSU, I went and played. So to show loyalty to like that school, but coming back was, it's always been a dream to play here at LSU. I mean, growing up as a kid that lives 40 minutes from Alex Box Stadium, I went to a lot of LSU baseball games and I fell in love with it. Like, especially like how cool would it be to be the guy that's on the field at Alex Box Stadium with the rest of the 15,000 that are there. Like, I've always wanted that. And now I get to come back and actually get what I've worked so hard for.
Growing up and going to the games, who was your all-time favorite player to watch?
Well, it started with Mikey Montauk. And then it kind of shifted from Montauk to Bregman and then to Katesovic.
Where would you like to see, and now I'm getting off on a tangent, but I gotta know, where would you like to see Bregman play? Who would you be okay rooting for?
Anybody than where he was.
I know, but sometimes it's easier to root for
anyone.
a certain team you want to root for. You know, like he might be the guy who likes the Yankees. He might say that, or he may be like, I can't stand the Yankees anywhere but New York.
Dodgers don't even need them, but they just want to show how much money they have because they can sign everybody. Like those dudes, I'm so through with those dudes. I don't get it.
Daniel, would you want Bregman on the Cardinals, sir?
I would love to have Bregman on the Cardinals.
But I wouldn't be mad if Bregman went to like the Padres, but they kind of have Tatis and they got Machado over there at third. So I don't really know. Maybe he can go back to second, how he was as a freshman at LSU.
There you go.
But I wouldn't mind the Padres or the Rangers or the Dodgers.
So before Jim gets into the baseball with you, I gotta ask, and you can divulge as much or as little into the answer of this question as you want. All right, it's very it's not a traditional route to go to a school, redshirt, then transfer out, go to community college, and then go back to the school that you originally redshirted at. So give me the backstory. How does all that happen? Were you injured? Was it playing time? Was it unhappy? Was there stuff going on at home? Like, give me the
Okay,
backstory on how all
so the backstory on that was I was a freshman with a lot of older players actually that were in the catching spot. You had Tyler McManus, then you had Hayden Travinsky, Alex Malazzo, and then me. So for me personally, at the end of fall, Coach Johnson said you can either redshirt or you can transfer out. And I'm like, well, I'm at home. I get to see my parents a lot more than I would. So I'll stay, and hopefully maybe I'll get an opportunity if somebody like gets hurt, not hoping that they wouldn't, but if like that were to occur, I would get my opportunity.
Right.
And then end of the year came. I had my end of the year meeting. I told him that I was going to transfer out, go to Meridian, and had a blast in Meridian. Anybody that's ever been to Meridian, Mississippi, there's nothing to do. You go to class, you play baseball. That's it.
Well, let me be clear. Your decision, me and Daniel have been doing this long enough. The guys who go and get the reps are making the right move. You will never benefit from sitting on the sideline. You just never will. And so you've got to go and get that valuable playing time, that experience. And there's nowhere better to do that than one of the amazing JUCO programs and becoming a JUCO bandit, and then take the route you did. So you did the right thing. We've seen a lot of guys who want to stay at a prestigious school but not touch the field, and they're never going to get better that way.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, Blaise, like with the way that coaches, and I'm not saying Coach Johnson's going anywhere, but what I am saying is with the way that coaches can just carousel around, it's very hard to commit to a place with no playing time because you never know who might come in the next year. And then what was guaranteed or what was promised or what was said to you, it's null and void at that point. And then you find yourself, well, now I've lost a year of eligibility possibly, or I can redshirt and I'm going to have to leave anyways. You might as well leave and go get some playing time, get some experience, get better each and every day, and know what you got to come back to. But I'll ask you this, and I'm just curious, were you appreciative of Coach sitting down and saying, you can do this or this, you can redshirt or you can transfer? Or was that in the moment, was that a tough pill to swallow?
At the time it was kind of a tough pill to swallow, but as I like learned more about it and like I could still practice with the team up until like, as this year would be February 14th. So I could practice up with the team until February 13th, and I could still be around the guys. And that was like the biggest thing. I could still learn from everybody.
And what a valuable set of guys, like you said. I mean, obviously, a good portion of them would go on to win a national championship. So I feel like the whole thing works out extremely well for you, especially because, you know, you go to Meridian, you bat 377, 61 hits, 14 home runs, 65 RBIs, getting that valuable playing time we're talking about. So just, I mean, when you look back on it, man, just how much you talked about the place in general, but just how much fun did you have, man, playing?
Playing it, it's a blast. I mean, you look at like JUCOs and you're like, oh, it's just the kids that didn't get an opportunity to play Division I baseball. But JUCO baseball is actually a lot more than that. I had a blast like playing Connor Ware at Pearl River or facing like these donkeys that could be like a smaller Division I. Like I enjoyed playing there. Like we had, I think 10 out of the 13 sophomores we had in Meridian went and played Division I baseball. Like that's how much fun JUCO baseball is.
Yeah.
I mean, you get to like, you literally go to class, you go to practice, you go to class, you go to game. Like that's all you do.
And it's cool. I mean, whether we've had the coach from Northwest Florida State, Doug Martin, on his school is fed into a bunch of SEC teams. You got Meridian. We've had Northwest. It's in North Mississippi that's fed into Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I mean, it's like you said, the guys always come on here, say they have fun, and like I said, get the reps, and it's just worked out. And I'm hoping that rule change that, people are kind of going back and forth, but not taking your eligibility if you play JUCO. If I'm a kid and that rule definitely gets set in, I'm 100%. If I don't think I'm going to play at all, I'm just going JUCO. You got to swallow your pride. Too many kids want to chase the prestige, but not put in the work. Because if you go to JUCO, you're going to have to work. And that's what I love about you, Blaise. You went and put in the work and you killed it. And now you're back to your dream school in a much better spot than you were a couple years ago. So, you come back, I go to 3 fall games. And when I go, man, you show me what I need to see. I mean, you're out there raking completely. You had multiple bombs in the 3 games, including a grand slam. How did you feel about the fall?
I thought I had a lot better fall than my 3 previous falls. This fall, I didn't really look at the numbers, but I think I hit around like 350, 360, something around there. Multiple homers, I know that. Just comparing to what I did previous falls, this is the best fall by far. I felt more prepared, more in shape, bigger, faster, stronger. I felt like this fall was, as I said, like the best fall by far.
And you're talking about physically, but mentally, I mean, are you in a much better place because you have put in that time and that work and you have matured?
Oh, 100%. Like as a freshman coming into LSU, I didn't really think I was like quite ready. So I did have a lot of growing up to do.
And that was an intimidating situation. You listed those guys. I mean, they're all elite across the board. And I mean, dudes that were just, not just on the field in general, but they were captains, mentors, wearing, 8, like these guys. I mean, that's a tough situation. And yes, you can learn from them, but at the end of the day, you also got to compete with them. And that's an intimidating factor. So, but I am glad that you said you got during that redshirt season to learn from all those guys. Cause man, valuable, especially Milazzo. We've obviously had him on here. That dude, if he's not coaching one day, like I'll be shocked. Cause I mean, the amount of information that guy has is unreal.
For sure. And yeah, as you said, Jim, like just the reps that I had to put in to get to come back here to LSU is there's just countless hours of me just putting in the work in the cage, catching off machine, catching live arms. JUCO baseball's a grind, and I'm a lot happier that I put in that work and went to Meridian Community College to put it there.
Absolutely. So talking about this team, man, the depth is, I mean, I've never seen depth on a baseball roster like I have this one. People are asking to project starting lineups, and I'm like, your guess is as good as mine. And even if you can project the starting lineup the first game, you're not going to know what's going to be the second game or the third game. Everybody's going to get their opportunity. I feel like that's the way Jay did it last year. But so many guys. So how awesome is it to be on a team where, man, like, just it's an iron sharpens iron mentality, I know, first off, but man, like, there's dudes everywhere, and even in a war of attrition and a long season, man, you are going to be covered.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Like, I think there's 12 returning players from last year's team, and like with the freshmen coming in and transfers such as myself, there's a lot of depth, especially at the catcher's position. Like, we have me, Luis Hernandez, Edward Yaman IV, and Kate Aaron Beatty, and we all had really good falls. And then like on the bump, Lord, I think we had 21 pitchers. So right. That's covered. We have, I think it's 3 first basemen. That's covered.
The hardest one for me is the project is the outfield. I mean,
I couldn't tell you that answer even if I knew.
I'm like, poor Josh Pearson, man. He's got all these guys underneath him coming in, pushing him, and it's like, man, normally in most programs you'd just be a lock out there, but no, he's getting pushed by. I mean, you got Derek Curriell coming in, who is my pick for SEC Freshman of the Year, pushing. You got guys like Jake Brown and Stanfield. It's unreal, but I love it. But you brought up the pitching staff. You got to face this pitching staff all fall. There's a lot of people. So take my LSU fandom aside. There's a lot of writers that said this could be the best pitching staff in the country. Man, you got to see it. Face it. Is it as good as everybody's thinking it may be?
Yes. It's cold, simple answer. 100%.
Who would you say was the hardest guy to face all fall?
Jacob Mayers. Everything comes out of the same slot. He has a a fastball that's going to ride at like 24, 25 inches of vertical ride, and a bullet slider and a nasty splitter. That, for me personally, that was the hardest one. Especially he throws 98 miles an hour, and baseball's doing that from 60 feet away. It was brutal.
Do you get the work in the pen, or is this live situations? Because I know, like, with the way fall and everything's going, there's a lot of people doing a lot of different things, and like you would like to think like in the bullpen is where you need to have the time to like see how pitches move and see what these things are doing, see whose dances which way, because all pitchers are different and they have movements and cadences and a lot of different things. But do you have the opportunity to spend a lot of time in the pen, or is it we are limited in time, so all my work is during these, live, at bat scrimmage type atmospheres?
No, like today I caught DJ Primo and Connor Ware. That was bullpens for the day for me. But no, we get to spend as much time as we need in the bullpen, having fun with them, like outside of the field, just to make sure that they know that they can trust us and we can trust them whenever it comes down to the wire. And mostly it's just have fun. Like in the bullpen, we're just like, we'll laugh, we'll smile, but it gets serious whenever we're working. But most of the time I work with them a lot in the bullpen, especially, and whenever we'll like go back and look at all the TrackMan data and like watch the videos of like how they can get better improvement of, like, let's just say releasing or arm angle, whatever it might be. I spend a lot of time with them just as much as like Coach Yeski does, and just like Coach Jordan does with us.
I'll tell you this, Daniel, I would obviously like to see Blaise behind the plate, but the way he swung it and the way guys have talked about him, I definitely think when the lineup gets figured out, if he's not back there catching, this guy's going to be the DH. I'm speaking it on this show right now.
There we go. So Blaise, getting back to the catching piece. All right. You know that pitchers can be emotional. They can be irrational. They can be a lot of different things. And I'm saying this from experience. So as a catcher, you got to be able to know how to code switch. You got to be able to know how to talk to your guys.
Mm-hmm.
So who is the guy that you've got to like be really blunt with and like really get in their ass and be like, look, this is how it is. Like, you're here for a reason. Let's go.
That's more of like the freshmen, like coming in a little bit, because it's like they're trying to get their feet wet, but then they're like, well, I'm here for a reason. But it's kind of like the intimidation piece, as Jim mentioned earlier. But no, it's mostly like the freshmen, and sometimes it's even Chase Shores, because he didn't get a call, or he's like, man, that was a really good pitch, but the guy still hit it, and he's like bumming, and I'm like, this is what you signed up for.
Mm.
Like, you signed up to come here. You signed up to face to be in the greatest conference.
That's why I like that clip of Cal Stark last year, because it's something that catchers all do, but it was because it was in Omaha, it got screen time, because you guys are always talking to your pitchers. You're always ready. But in a big moment, they show him stepping out and talking to, I feel like it was Seacrest, but having a conversation and tell him to just, and then the next thing you know, he had thrown 3 balls in a row. He throws back-to-back strikes and ends up getting out of the jam. And that's something you guys do. And I think that's why Daniel asked it. I think it goes kind of under the radar how important a catcher's relationship is to his pitcher.
100%. I mean, we're servants to them. Like anything they need for us, whether it's like the way we talk to them or the way that they want us to set up behind the dish, any way they need it, we're gonna basically like give it to them.
They just better throw it where you're at and throw the right pitch.
Just put it right at the M on the chest.
There you go, man. It's crazy. Like, a good catcher can be a lot of different things, and there's a in my opinion, there's a huge difference between a good catcher and a great catcher. Good catchers are catchers that can do the position and do a just fine job. great catchers are an extension of the pitching coach, the head coach, and defensively all the players and where they're playing and where they move, how they move. Like, it's just another level.
And we were spoiled as Cardinals fans, Daniel, because
Oh.
nobody did it all better than Yachty.
I mean, it's hard to replace that. But with all that, and all that going into it, it's got to feel really good knowing like you are, in my opinion, the most important piece to a squad. And you do say, we're a servant to the pitchers, but the reality is they couldn't do their job effectively without guys like you. So I say all that to tell you, hey man, like, you may not feel appreciated from that staff, but eventually you'll get it, man. It can be a thankless job, but the pitchers are definitely appreciative of a guy that's back there that can do everything that you can do, man. So,
and I appreciate you saying that, Daniel. And yeah, as you mentioned, like, especially like the middle infielders, we have to be cool, calm, and collective at all times. As soon as we start rationing out, then everybody else thinks it's okay to do, and that's not how teams win. So as a catcher, we have to stay calm, cool, collected, because 8 guys are looking at us and we look at 8 guys.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're going to have, based upon, if there's anything we've learned from this show, Daniel, Blaise, when you're at Texas A&M, every pitcher we've had on here says that's the one place where it feels like the fans are right on top of you. I think the Landon Sims saying it was hard for him to stay composed there. And so that's going to be a wild weekend. Hopefully it's the top 5 matchup that expect it to be. So it's going to be like that. I get it on the road everywhere in the SEC, but I feel like that one's going to be one where, man, you guys are going to have to be on top of it and try to make sure those guys stay composed and don't let that, crazy crowd get to them.
Yep. It can be hostile out there in the SEC.
I'll be there. If anybody gets out of line, Daniel, I got it.
Stop. Maybe, hopefully it'll be such a blowout you won't even have to worry about it. It'll just be cruise control all the way.
Ain't nobody blowing out A&M. Stop. I'm telling you, look, I've been on here. Y'all are going to be in the finals of Omaha. Look, so this is going to be a preview of the end, Daniel. I'm just saying.
I mean, everybody will blow out a team, and every team will get blown out. That's baseball.
I was at the Mississippi State series in 2023 where after LSU blew a 9-run lead and everybody said, there's no way this team can win it all. They don't have it. Funny how that works, huh, Daniel?
Yeah.
So Jim's calling it. LSU and Texas A&M and Omaha. World Series championship, 3 games.
Hey, it's not
I believe in it so much that I put my money there, didn't I, Daniel? I got A&M at plus 900 and I got LSU at plus 1,000. So I got $200 invested, and if it's one way or the other, make 750 or make 800. Let's get it.
Either way, he's putting his money where his mouth is.
I love it.
I know, he got to, right? That's his squad. He's backing his squad, and he likes Texas A&M.
But I don't lie to myself about how scary good A&M is, though. So
they're pretty good, no doubt. There's a lot of really good teams. Like, if you look in the top 10, like I would say top 12 to 14. If you told me they won the national championship, I'd be like, all right, I could see that. That's how good college baseball is,
But I told you, I will take Tennessee or Georgia on top of that. I'll take those 4 against all of them. They can have it. I don't want any of the ACC teams. They're not beating the SEC. You can hang it up.
I mean, NCAA, do this for me. However you got to make it happen. If it's going to be 4 from the SEC and 4 from the ACC, please,
not like last year, 3 of one and 1 and the other.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's
reseed
have it all play. Yep, reseed, please. All right, Blaise, let's get to the game, man, before you bounce out of here. This is a game called This or That. Over 500 guests have played this game, so if you told me you didn't want to play, I would be really disappointed, and I would be like, damn, it's like that, huh? Only did.
Right. Let's play.
All right, so it's easy. I give you 2 options. You choose one option or the other. Can't say both, can't say neither. Just got to be decisive and pick one.
All right.
All right, Jim, this or that. Who is it brought to you by?
Old Dominic Distillery in the heart of downtown Memphis. Whiskey to vodka, bourbon to gin. And I tell you, Daniel, it is 17 degrees here today. If there's ever a time you could use a drink, but here is a commercial from our boys. You can go online and get your bottle, but I recommend going into the place, Daniel. Get you a tour, learn about it. It's an amazing product.
Absolutely, because I've heard it time after time. I like everything, or I don't like a lot of things. I don't know what I like. Well, that's the great thing. The people at Old Dominic are knowledgeable, not just in what you like, but in all brands, and they can kind of match your palate and your needs to what you like and tailor a drink.
Well, it
especially
reminds
for
me
you.
of our other sponsor, Chinook, right? Because it's 8 flavors of Mountain Wild. They're not all going to be yours, Daniel, but there's going to be one. You're going to resonate with it.
And there's going to be one that I don't like called dill pickle.
Dill pickle.
Oh, come
Only
on.
Ty Floyd.
Oh, Blaise, dill pickle sunflower seed is probably the worst seed ever.
He likes it based upon his reaction.
That
Nah.
that was, the whoever created the first dill pickle seed, that was just laziness.
But like I said, since this is an LSU episode, I mean, Ty Floyd saying is his favorite. I have to respect it because Ty had 17 Ks against Florida in World Series.
I mean,
Whatever works.
I agree with Jim there.
okay, but I mean, I'll
Daniel
tell Ty
doesn't have to
Floyd.
agree, but I'm gonna agree with Jim.
Let's use a non-LSU. We asked Trey Richardson how he hit 3 home runs in that game against Arkansas in the regional, 2 off Hagen Smith, and he said it was the Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's or whatever. Whatever works.
Hey, whatever your thing is, I mean, it could be Chinook seeds, it could be IHOP breakfast, it could be, a body armor protein shake, it could be a prime. I don't care. Whatever it is, do you, man? Do you?
Whatever works for me, right?
That's it, man. Let's get to it. Since we're on the subject of sunflower seeds, what is your sunflower seed of choice? Biggs or Chinook?
Chinook.
Oh, hands down, bro. I mean,
Smart guy, the last LSU guy, not so smart.
Biggs has to tell you the size of their sunflower seed in order to make it more enticing. See, Chinook doesn't do that. They give you the big ones anyways.
Yeah.
For less price, and the flavors are better. So
I've enjoyed Chinook seeds.
Absolutely.
I used to be a Biggs fan, but then once I tried my first bag of Chinook, I've always done Chinook.
You never go back, for sure. All right, beach or lake?
I like fishing for largemouth bass, so I'm going to go for the lake.
The lake, especially the one that he has the coordinates to that nobody else will. The special lake out in Denham Springs. All right, this is a very good question, and I'm curious. You got a nice hair flow, you got a nice little beard. If you could just keep one of them, what would you keep?
Oh, the beard, hands down.
When's the last time you cut your hair?
About 3 months ago.
When's the next time you plan on cutting your hair? Or is there plans? You're just going to let it roll?
I kind of just let it roll throughout the season. And then once it starts getting like 100 degrees, 110 degrees, this goes.
I tell you, Daniel, if there's another reason to bet on him having success, 2 guys came on with the same look. Because remember, when Beloso came on, he had his hair that long and he had the full beard. And then Tommy White's hair was long, had the beard. Obviously, they're certified ballers. I feel like he's falling right in line where he needs to be.
Yeah, it's a LSU thing, I guess.
But, that's one thing that was good about the difference between coaching staffs, right, Daniel? Because if you remember, the reason Cade lost all that was they had to shave it come season under the old regime. So now that's not a thing. He can let it eat all he wants.
I can tell you what. One thing you need to do is you need to get your boy Derek on the same facial hair game that you're on, because he looks a little young.
I bet he can't grow any. Why are you saying that?
I don't know. Maybe
Derek. I've tried. I've tried getting So we got a couple freshmen that are like, "Can you shave your beard and rock a goatee?" And I said, "No, absolutely not. I like my facial hair too much."
Yeah.
There's some elite mustaches around LSU too.
Oh yeah, LSU's they got some elite mustaches, that's for sure. All right, Blaise, you mentioned both of these topics, but if you had to pick one, hunting or fishing?
Oh, put me in a deer stand.
Ooh, okay. What's the
Put me in a
biggest
deer stand to where I can just enjoy nature for 4 or 5 hours.
What's the biggest deer you ever bagged?
The one that's hanging in my mother's living room was 152 inches.
Man. That's what did it score, or did it score?
152 and a quarter.
152 and a quarter. Are you sure?
The deer weighed 172 pounds, and it was 152 inches and a quarter.
Gotcha. Okay. Hey.
So I will tell you what you need to do if hunting's your thing. If there's anything I learned, Daniel, from after Austin Riley came on here, look, when you go to the pros, you need to set up something with them, but like Realtree or whoever, because they take him on these hunting trips, and he gets to hunt the largest game I've ever seen. Daniel, that's definitely it's not what you know, but who you know thing. He gets to hunt stuff I didn't even know you could hunt.
I mean, you just got to go out there and tell them you had this, bow and arrow with muzzy broadheads, and bam, taking you. All right. Who you got this weekend? NFC Championship, Commanders or Eagles?
I'm going to have to go with Jaden Daniels on the Commanders.
I feel like if you didn't say that, there would be riots on that campus.
I know this. I know that I was laughed at and cussed at when I picked the Commanders on the show, Daniel, by you.
And that's fine. And and here's the thing. I wasn't laughing or cursing at the fact that you picked the Commanders. It was just like everybody knew what you were going to pick. I
know this. I went opposite of y'all on 3 out of 4 picks and was right. I clean swept 4 for 4. Now, however, y'all did both pick Ohio State and I picked Notre Dame. So I'm definitely fixing to take a massive L.
I mean, unless they do something here.
That Ohio first State's drive made me feel like I had it picked. I was nailed. And then Ohio State came right down the field and I was like, all right, never mind.
All right. So looks like your Super Bowl. You got Commanders. Who else you got? Bills or Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as Patty Mahomes is quarterbacking, that's my pick.
As long as you're not allowed to hit him, he's good.
I mean,
we're not we can do 20 minutes on that. I'm not going to do it to you.
Daniel has a point. As long as Patrick Mahomes is still the quarterback, you can guarantee on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
right, I guess.
Jim already knows. Jim already knows my philosophy when it comes to this stuff. You're the champion until you're not, and I get it. The Chiefs haven't won the way that they've won in the past, but guess what? They've won a lot this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the Josh Allen Buffalo Bills don't strike any fear in the Chiefs. I'm telling you, they don't.
Josh Allen was my fantasy quarterback this year.
How'd you enjoy that roller coaster ride?
Not great.
Yeah.
Daniel won our fantasy league, and he won it on Lamar Jackson and Jamar Chase.
I mean, if you were a Raven, you were on my team at one point. It's just how it was. Mark Andrews was the only dude I didn't have on the Ravens at one point.
Man, that dude didn't sleep last night. That's a fact.
I had Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman. I had the Baltimore defense. I had Lamar Jackson. I mean, hey, I get it done. That's all I can say. All right, uniforms. Purple or gold? If you had to wear one and only one.
Sunday golds.
Sunday golds. Why the golds?
I like the golds better, especially when we're wearing white pants with purple piping.
I mean, I feel like it's especially when you talk about the boys who are Louisiana natives, gold is tradition. I feel like we haven't had a single guy that's from Louisiana that didn't say gold.
Like as Jim just pointed, it's a tradition here, and Me personally, I like the golds better. But if we were to go a little further from purple and gold, the pennies are there. The pinstripes are there.
Ooh, okay. Not many
She's
people are.
definitely got an elite kit, but I mean, I think all the elite programs do now. If you don't have elite uniforms at this point and you're a top tier program, what are you doing with your life?
Yeah, that's if we haven't learned yet that uniforms are a driving factor for recruits for whatever reason, like you're fooling yourself because it is. Like you got to look fresh.
I just want to know, since he brought up the pins, LSU athletic collection. No, it's actually not their fault, Daniel. I should have had it to wear. I'll be wearing it opening weekend. They got a pinstripe LSU jersey hoodie that they made for me.
They made it for you, custom for you.
Anyway, listen, it was going to arrive here when the 8 inches of snow came, and so it got held. And now I don't know where it's being held. It's being held hostage, Daniel. But I do have a hoodie. If
That's
it doesn't come,
Timu for you.
He will like this. Blaise will like this. If it's not there, I am meeting Bill Pearson Friday the 14th to get my Do Damage hoodie. If I don't have my LSU pinstripe hoodie, a Do Damage hoodie to represent the Pearson family will definitely work.
That'll be perfect.
That'll work. All right, last question. Big question. Would you rather spend 5 years in jail or 10 years in a coma?
Oh,
I know, right? It's a tough question for some. Not so much for me.
well, okay. Since I'm still pondering my answer, what would your answer be, Daniel? There.
Oh, 10 years in a coma, no doubt. Easy question. Easiest question you could have asked me. And I'll tell you why. And you can still ponder your thought. I hope this doesn't, maybe it will give you some insight into the answer you should pick here. I'm 40. And after 40 years, there's a few things that I know about myself. One, I don't want to be in jail. And two, I can sleep like a champ. So with that philosophy, like give me the 10 years of sleep, a nice little nap. I'll wake up and we'll figure things out.
So here's my answer. And you don't have this problem that I have. So this is why I would go with Daniel's answer if I was you. But me personally, I have 2 kids that if you fast forward 10 years, I would miss a big portion of them growing up. Therefore, I'd rather do 5 years in jail and have them come visit, write letters, find out what's going on, and I'll just survive and adapt like I have anything else in my life.
No, not me. Bump them kids.
That's a shame. You got 2 small little girls. You wake up and they be full grown.
Then they can go to jail. I ain't going to jail.
He once said he gave you the nice answer. He once said that I wouldn't visit anybody in jail.
I wouldn't even drive into the parking lot of a jail. There's that.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go with Jim here and spend 5 years in jail.
Oh, who knows? Man, we're gonna take everybody on, man. He's gonna have my back.
Who knows what I'm in jail for? Hopefully, it's just like a speeding ticket that I didn't pay, and
they 5 years for a speeding ticket.
They added a couple years for.
He's basically saying, Daniel, he's not a criminal. He wouldn't commit any criminal acts that would get him 5 years. So that's the best he can think of.
No, I mean it's a hypothetical. Nobody that we bring on the show, I hope, isn't spending.
Well, I had to ask him. I had to put that for the final question because we alternate. But I know that if we asked you $5 million, briefcase, duffel bag, whatever, Daniel delivers it to you, or you could win a national championship this season, what are you taking?
Money sounds nice, but I'd like to add another natty on the wall.
And we knew you would say that. That's why we had to go with the other one.
I mean, that's the wrong answer too, Blaise.
No, yes, I could be a millionaire, but another natty and to have a legendary season and bring home that natty and be a part of another, like putting another one on the wall. I can't beat that.
I mean, Skeens came on here and said he'd give his $10 million back before he would give his national championship back.
And that's crazy too. That's crazy.
Hey man, you weren't there for that ride with them, man. The blood, sweat, and tears, whole season. Man, it's just.
I get it. I get it.
And you also said because you coached to win a national championship, you didn't play and win one. You even said yourself it's different probably as a player, and I would agree.
Yeah, I mean, I've never won one as a player, so I don't know if it would feel different, but as a coach,
Well, we can
it was a great
back
feeling.
with Blaise after he wins it, and we can be like, look, you got the natty now. Do you want $5 million? Well, we'll purchase it with the $5 million we don't have.
True that. All right, Blaise, man, it's time to roll. Anything you want to plug or promote?
First, thank y'all, and go Tigers, and I'll let y'all know how that natty feels on the way home. How about that?
Ooh,
I'm gonna make sure Chinook sends him a personal gift box. I already messaged Matt Beard, who's an LSU fan that works for them. I said he picked him, unlike the last two LSU guys who said big. So we're gonna make sure Blaise taken care of. By the way, Daniel.
There you go.
All right, I appreciate that, Jim.
See, right answers. Who would have known? Like, who knows what you would have gotten if you would have picked Acoma or?
I mean, it's
the
right there in
money.
the top right corner. Like it's a cheat.
You can't miss it. It's literally staring at you the whole
Cheat
time.
code for the question. I get you. All right, Blaise, man, I appreciate you. We hope you have a great, successful, healthy, injury-free season. And who knows? You might be right. You might be hoisted a national championship at the end of the season. And if you do, guess what? You get to come back here and we get to break it all down and talk about it.
All right. Well, I appreciate it.
I'll come on here and say, you were right.
Well, I appreciate it, guys. And thank you for y'all's time.
Absolutely.
That's Blaise Priester, everybody. If you like hearing Blaise's story or you just like hearing us average Joes talk X's and O's, please like, share the podcast on Facebook, retweet us on X, listen and subscribe wherever you stream your podcast. Head over to YouTube, click like, click subscribe, click notifications. That way you're the first to know when we upload new content. It's a big week, Jim. Who we got? What we got? Who's going?
Man, you literally don't read the notes. I said, don't come to me and announce that Lily Tubbs from Washington's going to be tomorrow night. Slacker.
Well, there it is.
But
Lily
we
Tubbs.
get to go all the way to the West Coast, do gymnastics. Daniel, I'm telling you, man, I can only be so appreciative of you. Like, dude, I love this gymnastics game. And I could only imagine because, you know, all these baseball fans are like just dying waiting for baseball. And me and you're okay, man, because we are fully entertained right now.
Of course. And it gives us it's a nice lead into the weekend when you have Friday nights gymnastics and it's really the big thing going. Like we don't have to worry too much about, college baseball right now. Soon we will, but at that point we're going to be so ingrained and we may just put baseball on the back burner. Who knows? We'll see. It's an option. All right, man, let's get out of here. This has been the In Off the Bench podcast. As always, remember, strong body, sharp minds, grit and grind all the time. We're out.